Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 6 of Crimson Harvest. I cannot believe we are 6 episodes into this show already. That's like over a full month of playing. That's wild. Um, I am going to have everyone do a quick introduction, then I'll do a recap of the last episode and we'll jump right into it. We are missing Jay today. Our friend Jay, our Nalawu online, is busy today. And so we have their little vampire coffin for the evening. Natalie, why don't you do your introduction first?
Hi, I'm Natalie Putum. I'm a game designer with Luck of the Harbor, and tonight I will be playing Lydia Lott, the vampire gambling den owner and general trouble.
Joy.
I'm Joy. I use she, hers, and he, his pronouns. I will be playing Cecilia Armand Dupree, the vampire menace.
You're all menaces.
Yeah.
Val.
Hi everyone, I'm Valiant Dory and I use him, his pronouns. I'm a TTRPG performer and Twitch variety streamer. Please, if you would like me, please go check out my stuff at Valiant Dory and also Spirit. Please enjoy that lovely treasure I just sent you on. Tonight, I'll be playing Omkaar, who totally had a normal date in the Hunters episode.
And if you didn't see the last Hunters episode, it was quite scandalous. You should check it out on the VOD when you get the chance. I am Max. I am Arcane Goth on the internet. I play everyone else in the world, but I myself use he, they pronouns. To do a little bit more of an in-depth recap, all the way back from the very first session, we had a date in the books for Assurance and the Brass Devil, who is a vampire who has resided in the city of Drancaster for longer than any of the hunters have been alive, certainly. And through some kind of spreading of rumors and some talking and scheming, Omkaar decided to take the Brass Devil's place and don his armor to go on the date. The scheme, I would say, was successful. Omkaar wasn't found out to have been faking, and did not get killed. So those are two wonderful things. There's some moments on the date, some tension, some very serious talks about all kinds of feelings about immortality and the like. But now I want to give Val the opportunity to say where are we going to find Omkaar right now? Is there anything that you need to cover in Drancaster or with Dev before we rendezvous with everyone else?
No, I think Omkaar, when Dave asks how it went, would have probably said something along the lines of that it was difficult to determine that he couldn't find the other hunters. But for Dev's safety, it'd be prudent to manage and time well any other meetings with Assurance. And I think he would at least indulge this because this was heavily implied in their conversation that Assurance knows a lot about the Brass Devil, and it doesn't. And I think Omkaar would be like, "You don't seem to be the type to indulge very quickly."
How do you mean? Like, you think they read about me in some way?
It feels, and Omkaar tries to find a better word for intimate, but that's the best word. An intimate knowledge of you. They talked about seeing you. And I don't Val understands what that means in the context, but Omkaar doesn't. I don't think has enough information to know how that happened. But just know, because Assurance hinted and spoke about seeing Dev's true self in somewhere. That was like that very massive hint there. So I think like Omkaar would be like, and for that I'm concerned for your safety. If there is another invitation to meet, please let us know. I do not think we're out of the woods yet.
And you think that I will receive a second invitation, or you don't?
I think you might. The other hunters seem, if what Assurance is telling me is indeed the truth, which I think it is, then they might be more cautious next time or revamp their plan. I'm not entirely sure. There seems to be inter-team disapproval for going on to the date.
So at least some of them did consider it malicious.
Yeah, Omkaar nods. Which is why I'm concerned for his safety, which is why I'm mentioning this.
Do you think that I should leave town for a while? Is it that serious?
Not that would spark concern, I think, and I wouldn't want them to do something unpredictable and entirely out of our control. No, now is good. Now we know how they are, how they work, and that they are very keen on you. We can observe better from here. And he like looks around this massive house, like, and you're fairly secure here, I believe, my lord.
I'll keep it locked down then. Let's keep our line of communication open. Let me know if you hear anything else.
Certainly, my lord.
You don't have to call me that.
All right. Omkaar smiles. And
Um,
I obviously return the armor. I don't steal the armor forever.
I would hope. Well, you'll be off then.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I should inform the rest of my companions on what has transpired. Seek counsel, and we will keep you apprised of what's going on. If anything happens here, let us know, and we will react accordingly to be safe.
Yeah, you've got it. He seems a little like a little torn. Obviously, it's a lot of information for him to kind of be figuring it out.
Exactly.
Um,
Girl boss, gatekeep.
I don't even know what this is classified as.
Mansplain, man, whore, manipulate.
This definitely was. Last episode was a big man whore and manipulate. Yeah, he will send you off whenever you're leaving. He'll send you with like a gift basket for the Duprees as well. It's like it has like kind of like some like houseware like crafts that it seems like he has worked on in it. Like mostly like ornamental things, or like nice kitchen knives to use and stuff like that. Yeah, and he sends you back. Is there anything I owe you a roll to see about a suitor?
Yeah, the bat.
Okay,
Let's go.
what do we think is fair? How smart is your bat? Be real with me.
Charlemagne's a genius. I'm dead ass.
Okay, so okay. Charlemagne's a genius, but the world is big and he is small. So yes. I have D20 or well, 15 or higher, he will find someone for you to set up dev with or
Accept
attempt
on.
to, who will be like acceptable. All right, come through, Charlotte.
Thanks, Charlie. Do it
That
for your
is
mama.
actually an 18.
Let's go. Told you he's a genius.
Charlemagne.
Charlie, he did it for his mama.
All right. Why don't you describe the suitor that you are going to send word of to your uncle?
Okay, so he's 5'7". He's got long golden hair. He looks slight, like he's kind of a waif of a man, but you can tell there's like hidden muscle there. He's built like a swimmer. And he's got wide doe-ish eyes. Like he looks somehow both dangerous and like he belongs in a meadow in the forest.
I love Alucard.
How'd you know? How'd you know?
Okay, what is his name?
Ooh, okay, his name is Lucian.
Lucian. That's a good name. Great name, even.
Yes.
So you send word of presumably the vampire Lucian,
Yes.
to your uncle, just as Omkaar is arriving back in the area. You both should be expecting him. Salis is away. Salis has gone west a little bit to perform at a large event, so they will be away for a few days. The both of you will be expecting Omkaar back, and he arrives, pretty much on time, on schedule,
With a gift basket.
with a gift basket for your family. Yeah.
Yeah, and when he arrives, he's typical Omkar. He is practical. He walks and moves with purpose. And he arrives to meet with you all. I'm assuming at Lady Luck's. Where are we meeting?
Oh, please be Lady Lux.
Listen, we could meet at the Dupree estate.
All right, let's go to the Dupree estate. I love you, Lydia. Owing you 2 debts in 2 sessions in a row.
You cannot keep living like this.
I can't keep living like this. All right, he arrives at like the Dupree estate, and like when he enters and meets up with y'all, he just lifts up this basket to you, Cecilia,
Perfect.
from the brass devil.
Oh, it's so pretty. Can Cecilia pocket one of the kitchen knives in there?
You can, because your parents aren't like greeting you directly at the door, I'd say you could take whatever you want out of it, but the more you take, the easier it will be to realize that things were taken out of it.
Oh yeah, so just the knife.
Okay. Yeah, you take out a nice kitchen knife. You know what his craftsmanship looks like, so you know that he made this one.
It's so pretty.
I'm glad it's to your liking. He
it's
your
sends with his
trip.
regards. Fine. I've made some discoveries. Not enough, I think, to set up a plan wholly without all of your counsel.
Why do you need a plan? They're dead, right, Omkar?
He shakes his head. Nope. They were not all there. Or if they were, I couldn't see them.
So did you kill the one you saw to make an example?
And I think Omkar like chuckles a little bit and says, and lose our 1 cent to the rest of them while they all go back into hiding like rats.
Fear is an extremely powerful motivator. The humans are getting rebellious. Put
And
them back in their
Omkar.
place.
Ooh. Omkar makes a face. It's a weird face, but quickly like furrows his brow and say, I agree, but here's the issue. Through my discussions with them, I have learned with assurance, the one hunter, I learned that the other hunters were not pleased with their coming on this date with the brass devil.
And you believe that?
Yep, I do actually. They seemed particularly miffed about that. They were almost venting about this tension within their own party.
Ooh, tension. Do tell.
Which means that if Assurance were to have felled by my hand that night, they would not cower. They would bide their time, yes, but they would come back. They're not the type of crew to abandon their cause, especially not if the one companion who said that they were going to go on a date came back in a body bag. But now we have an opportunity. Assurance wants to see the brass devil again. Now we have opportunity. And an opportunity to finish them together. I have dropped a hint that we may meet a group of esteemed vampires are coming to meet the great brass devil in a time soon to come. Dangling just enough bait in front of them to perhaps be a little overeager.
How good of
Because
a date were you that they wanted to go on a second one?
apparently I must have turned on the charm, which I'm surprised by.
Doesn't sound like you, Omi.
Ever watch a
Omkaar
man
looks
lie
at
through his
you.
teeth? You ever?
Could I try and figure someone out on Omkaar?
You are more than welcome to.
I feel like Lydia has just been studying him this
I
whole
want to get
time.
in on this.
That is an 8.
Okay.
So I think I get one question, right?
Yes, I don't have the list up. I need to pull it
I
up.
believe it's a question. Let me look up. I had it open.
7 to 9 should be one question.
Okay.
There we go.
Yes.
Found it.
Oh, if they're in my circle, I get an additional question. I'm assuming Omkaar is in my circle.
Yes.
I think so,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, 7 to 9. Oh, sorry. On a hit, you ask 2, but they get to ask one of you as well. That's what it is.
Okay.
Do you want me to send the
Okay.
questions in the
Yes,
chat?
I've got it. Yes. What's your character hoping to get from their relationship with Assurance?
Ooh. That's a very good question because I don't think even he knows. I think what Omkaar is hoping to get, and I think this comes through very, very strong. He wants more answers. He wants more opportunities to figure this person out. I think there's a definite sense of yes, he doesn't want to kill them because opportunity, but there's also it looks like he wants to know something else.
What does your character worry is going to happen?
He is worried. Okay, I'm trying to figure out how he would actually feel. He's worried this will all go tits up. I think that becomes very, very obvious. Because now that we've done this date, everything is perfect and primed, but also everything is so primed for disaster. And I think that comes through so clearly now that Omkaar doesn't talk this much to you all. He doesn't reason this much. This is very out of character, where he's thinking a lot and using a lot of his brain cells. So he's definitely you can tell he's trying to put the Tetris blocks just right so that everything goes well, and he's worried that it's gonna go tits up.
Okay. You get a question back?
I get a question back.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to figure out how to ask this question. Okay. How could I get your character to empower Omkaar in his machinations.
I think if you did something to prove like your subservience to Lydia a little bit, she would trust you more.
Mm-hmm. Noted.
Okay. Are we all good on questions?
And I think Omkaar will like look around and be like, Salis isn't here.
Salis is away.
And you see him just go, all right. A second meeting would be needed then. And look at you all and say, so how do we want to do this?
They're planning to visit the Brass Devil and they expect us to be there, or vampires of high standing?
I did mention you and Salis by name.
Not me.
You see him say, I did not want to divulge too much in case some of us did not want to be in the room where it happens and in the vicinity instead.
Yeah, Cecilia throws like a little side glance to Lydia. It's more Omi's acting weird energy.
That was actually the truth. He didn't want to make assumptions of who was gonna be there.
She took it personally regardless.
And he's just because I'm trying to remember how I said it last session. I name dropped Lydia.
Yeah,
I know
no,
that for sure.
Yeah, no. Lydia and Salis both definitely got name dropped, and I think you said, like you mentioned them basically like as friends, but I don't think you mentioned like a specific like meeting day or anything like that.
No, I don't think so. I just said I have to make preparations for a meeting, something like that.
Well, if I was them, I would be preparing an ambush in that case.
So we ambush their ambush.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
A bush and a bush.
The question is, do we want the Brass Devil in on this, or do we want to once again have him stay home?
Oh, well, now, I don't know if you heard, but Charlie, my bat, he told me that he actually found quite the paramour for my uncle. So I feel like he's going to be fine with us being in his house. He could even be there, perhaps as a first date of sorts.
Not the ambush on the first date.
I think it would be very romantic.
Could you imagine like your family members just like rolled up? Hey, we're here to stay at your house. We also brought this guy we think you might want to marry. Say hello.
What if
that's just
right
Daisy
now.
arranged. That's just Daisy arranged marriages. It's fine.
Yeah, so I feel like we should do that. We'll bring Lucian, and then we'll show up, and we'll go, oh, the hunters are coming. Wouldn't it be romantic for you to slaughter them in front of your new suitor?
That would be hot. I can't even argue with that.
I would be into it. No one's ever slaughtered a hunter for me before. And then she looks at Omi like angry.
Well, Omkar's met this assurance, and I worry about putting the Brass Devil in danger. How much of a threat is assurance? Should we be worried?
Omkaar now is like I think he like sits, he like leans back in his chair and like looks very seriously at the both of you because he's now about to tell you information he did not divulge to the Brass Devil. At least not in its entirety in its concern. Assurance seems to know very intimate aspects of the Brass devil's life.
How intimate we talking? Like bedroom stuff? Or...
Like, because they told me, because I asked if your hunters, friends, partners, as they said, disapproved so much of this meeting, why are you here? And they said that they saw something deeper inside of the brass devil. And I think this is where Omkaar like brings out his tarot cards, which you all know that he uses for oracle reading. And he says, and they weren't lying. I think they might have some sort of, either they have some sort of intel information, or they might just have some sort of ability that allows them to read their opponents, so read the people they want to meet, size them up.
Anyone who wants to roll right now can roll with mind. Mind is in this game, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I rolled a double one.
I'll
Big
try.
old.
Give your boy a minute.
I have 0 mind.
Okay.
Ooh, that's a 10. Wait,
Ooh,
plus
okay.
1. That's an 11.
Nice. I only rolled a 6, so.
So Cecilia, I think this comes to you because your parents have like taken interest like in like a research perspective like in like unique mortal beings before, and this is a power that you have like kind of heard of. You know that they have researched other types of folk who kind of have what they would call like a touch of the divine, who have kind of like a little magical bit to them, maybe from like a long Fey ancestry, or something else. So this is something that you know could actually be like a viable power that this person has.
Well,
But you also would know that usually this is not a thing, like a power that they would be able to perform on vampires. So it indicates like a strong power.
wow. Omi, just your luck. This person has a touch of the divine, Fey ancestry, magic. Wow.
Mm.
And it's powerful too.
Mm.
Especially to be able to read the brass devil, my uncle, who's very good at everything he does, including finding love.
Okay.
The domino effect of putting in a character to add flavor to the universe in episode 1 becoming the DMPC is crazy. It's crazy.
Listen, you should have seen this coming when you put an NPC called the Brass Devil that only wears armor.
The book did that. Like that's just canon material.
I
this
know,
man.
but I know, but it was right there. And Omkaar kind of looks over at Cecilia, hearing all of this information. It's just like, oh, that's interesting.
It's dangerous.
So, he thinks to himself and he says, so if they have that, I wonder if I can figure out by pulling some feelers out the abilities of the others so we can preempt them.
Perhaps you can try to scry on their scrying, that type of thing.
Me try to remember if I can scry on their scry.
Mechanically, CJ used an ability that you kind of like would have to like be like in the like visual range of a person to use. So
Yeah.
they weren't necessarily scrying. If you had other methods to scry on them, you could, but you wouldn't technically be scrying on their scrying because no scrying is currently happening, at least on any of you.
Cecilia doesn't know.
No, I think Omkaar.
I guess I'm telling you not to waste your time trying to find an ability that will make that happen.
Nobody scry. No scrying right now.
Omkaar nods and says, I can do another reading, figure out
Yes.
what they are doing in the near future. But it'll be helpful to have a very narrow question we want to ask the cards. And he
Well,
looks
is
at
that
both
all
of
that
you.
happened?
Omkaar, yeah, Omkaar, wait, is that everything that happened? Talked about Festival.
No,
Talked about
liar.
knowledge.
Assurance you drank from Assurance's hand.
Wouldn't lie to me, would you, Omi?
I'm trying to think if that's pertinent information.
I just want to know everything that happened.
Me, Valis.
If you don't divulge it, I feel like you're actively hiding it because Cecilia very clearly wants to know everything that happened, and I'm gonna
Everything-
make you roll to lie.
Yes,
Roll to lie.
I will consider rolling to lie. I'm just Val is actually also trying to remember if there's anything else I need to mention. I mentioned the brass devil thing. I mentioned the assurance ability, the partners. I didn't mention their strange amount of compassion for the brass devil. I should mention that. And Omkaar would say they have a very interesting amount of compassion for the brass devil.
Compassion.
Don't look so surprised. My uncle is worthy of compassion.
From
I'm
mortal.
sure.
Hey,
Yes.
he's bewitching.
And within the same breath of that compassion mentions the cruelty of vampires. Hence why I say a strange amount of compassion for the brass devil specifically.
I don't believe it.
Perhaps it was a ploy.
And I think that would be the perfect opportunity for Omkaar to be a little subservient and divulge that they even offered me their blood.
Ooh. And how did they taste?
I'm going to decide this. Okay. I think Omkaar would say, delicious, like most mortal blood is for me. You can tell that he's like very clumsy because he is still like a young vampire and doesn't understand how to like talk tastes for blood for him. It's a need.
Mhm.
But then he gets into more detail. Like, I don't know if any of you would remember, but like the freshest catch of seafood in the early morn, the largest catch.
Yes, it's going to be good to drink them dry.
At this particular moment, you all are in one of the rooms in the Dupree Manor. Are you just like in like a sitting room, or are you in Cecilia's bedroom, or do you have a preference on that?
We're in a tea room.
Okay, perfect. So one of the employees of the manor comes by to just like put some like freshly polished like plateware kind of back in a cabinet, and notices you all. Says, oh, good afternoon, Lady Cecilia. We were unaware that you had guests. Shall I inform the Lord and Lady, or is this more of a secret kind of thing?
It's not a secret. We're having tea. You can bother mother and father if you want, but you know how they get when you intrude on their business.
It is my job to intrude on their business and let them know what is going on their property. Is the thing.
All right, you can tell them we're just here drinking our tea and shooting the breeze, right, Miss Luck?
Of course.
Do you actually have tea out anywhere?
Yes.
Okay.
Believe she likes to play tea, so
Okay. I believe that. I'll let that slide.
It's just empty cups. It's just like empty cups, and you just hold it up
Uh-huh.
like.
it's the worst tea you've ever seen because she tried to make it herself.
Like,
It's sugar water.
and was that a would you like me to send someone in to brew your next pot for you?
Is this a slight? Do you think I'm not good at making tea?
I'm just trying to accommodate the people of the household. You shouldn't be
know.
bothered to have to make your own tea. That's why we're here.
That's very sweet of you. I would love a brew. Thank you. Kisses.
Right away, Lady Cecilia.
Did he not give the kisses back?
If you, he will like this.
Cecilia needs all the validation right now because Omkar's acting weak.
She's having the worst day of her life and trying to hold it together.
Honestly, if this is the worst day of her life, I'm so jealous.
She's had a very charmed life.
The Gemini energy is strong here.
Yes. So in a few moments, someone will come back and kind of take the tea set from you and actually begin to properly brew up a pot of tea for you all. On the tray is a note which he hands to you, Cecilia, from your father. And it says, Cecilia, darling, we just heard that Omkaar is back on premises. Send him our best and tell him this gift basket is delightful. We love the vase.
She turns to Omi, and because she's pissed, she just goes, thank you for delivering the gift basket, Omkaar. Mother and father are very grateful.
Omkaar like raises an eyebrow because you literally never say his full name like Omkaar.
Yep. And she turns right away from him.
And Omkaar will look over at Lydia and just to see if Lydia has clocked that this is happening.
I think Lydia has definitely clocked this is happening and just has kind of an eyebrow raised as she sips at her. I don't think she's drinking tea. I think she's basically always drinking blood, but
Do you just have like a flash that you carry with you?
She brought it in a thermos from home.
yep.
You have to have the blood Capri Suns. The blood Capri Suns.
The blood Capri Sun.
Like a Gogurt.
No.
Okay, this is gonna be free promo time for a second. If anyone is in the Northeast area in New Jersey, they have a thing called Lunar Fair, which is a night market that has all kinds of like witchy things. And one of the things, the times that I've been there, they will have like a vendor that walks around and sells like this like fruity, like berry flavored beverage, and it's like dark red, and they sell it in a blood bag. So that's fun. And Lydia
Lydia's
gets,
scary.
yeah. Lydia gets Capri Sun blood bags. I'm also imagining now like one of those hats where it has like the cans on top with the straws, which doesn't fit Lydia's vibe at all. But can you imagine?
I'm thinking about the bras where women put wine in them, and then there's a tube.
It's a little too
About to invent wine binder in 2023.
Yes. And I'll drink it.
I need to have that ready for Gen Con.
Oh no, it exists. It's been invented, by the way, Max. It exists.
The winder?
Yeah. It's like a sports bra that has wine in it. By the way, it exists.
We're buying it. All of us are getting some.
We're getting winders. Let's go. Okay.
Winder.
That's ridiculous. And as the attendant comes over and tops off kind of or not tops off, pours you new like cups of tea, Cecilia, not Cecilia, what did I say? Lydia, as your cup is being poured, you kind of look at the attendant now that this person has come closer. It's not the same person who was talking to Cecilia before. And you like look at her and you recognize her, and you can't, it's like on the tip of your tongue. Now you can't figure out exactly where you know her from. Go ahead and roll roll any stat besides blood. Tell me which one you pick and what you roll.
I'm rolling heart.
Okay.
That is a 9.
So with heart, you don't remember all of the specifics, but you remember this individual being immortal, that you shared like a very like strangely in-depth heart to heart with at your casino, when they were very drunk and looked very different. Her hair was a lot shorter at the time. It was a different color, and she used to wear glasses. Now she appears to be a vampire, but you can see with that heart connection that this is the same like soul, essentially. This is the same person. And she kind of like locks eyes with you and like very quickly like turns away and just like continues to fill your cup up.
I know you.
Excuse me, my lady, are you speaking to me?
Yes, you. What's your name?
My name?
I've already established I'm talking to you, haven't I?
Of course. My name is Allison.
Allison. You've made it pretty far, haven't you? Working for the Duprees. What a good station.
It is an incredible job. I agree. And she is like, knows that she can't leave the room mid-conversation, but is busy like with very meticulously arranging the tea set.
What brought you here? Who turned you?
Lady Dupree, permission to speak freely is with your guests. Is that all right?
Speak your mind.
I suppose you do know me. I never thought that you would remember. But yes, we did meet one time. I was turned about a year later. I'm not sure if you will know the individual by name, but it's a vampire by the name of Akane. She lives out on the edges of town here, closer to the mountains. Omkaar, you might know who that is, being more of like a rough and tumble type, because Akane is like a bit of a naturalist.
I see. I think Omkar, like hearing that name, goes, "That's familiar. This person's not talking out their ass," but like catch Lydia's eye and just like quietly nod, like, I'm aware. I know this person.
You know, I always thought you seemed quite delicious, Allison.
And she blushes incredibly red. Her skin tone is on the darker side, but you can still see like a shift in the color and like a very clear like heat up the side of her neck. And she goes, well, you know how it goes. There's only one way to really work your way up. I never quite got used to the and she does like one of these, and her fangs are like probably a little bit bigger than like most people's end up naturally. Never quite got used to them. I'm still working on it.
Takes a little time. All of us take a little while to grow into our fangs.
I never thought that I would see you at the Dupree Manor. I've been working here for quite some time.
Yes. Me and Cecilia are working on a bit of a project together.
Business.
Well, I am on here quite often. If there's anything that my sire and I might be able to help you with, Akane would be very happy to oblige the Dupree. She did get me this job here. They're friendly.
Of course.
And would you all like anything else? Would you like a top off on the blood, or
Could you bring cute little snacks?
I can go bring cute little snacks. Do you want sweet or savory?
Sweet, please.
And she will head out.
Something redheaded.
She will head out to get your cute little snacks. I'm sure cherries will be involved now.
Omkaar nods. He definitely like made a face when Lydia said some of us need to grow into our fangs because he felt that. He felt that stray hitting him. He felt that snipe. And looks at the attendant, looks back at Lydia. Didn't think you would remember someone like her.
Some people are worth remembering.
Omkaar nods. No, I'm familiar with this Akane, but haven't the pleasure of a meeting yet.
I would also venture to say that you were unaware that she had sired anyone. Not that you were close with her to begin with, but it's not like there are some people that like are, everything is kind of like a spectrum. There are some people that are more frivolous with the bites, and there are some people that are more conservative with the bites. And so you haven't heard of her being particularly like generous or frivolous with the turning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it sounds like to me that, if she's like a naturalist, it does sound like, oh, yeah, she kind of like just likes to vibe on her own is the kind of vibe I'm getting for the most part. And Omkaar like leans back and says, didn't think that she was the type to sire one, but here we are. And drinks the sugar water that was...
No, you got real tea.
I got real tea. Okay.
Yeah.
Now we'll drink
that's why
the real tea.
Allison came to make real tea.
Thank you for the real tea, Allison. And sips it. Looking at the both of you.
Perhaps we should pay this Akane person a visit.
Certainly, if that is what you would like.
Well, perhaps they know something about these hunters, being, a naturalist and all in the forest. I don't know.
Wouldn't hurt. It would be prudent to not make too many plans without Salis being in attendance anyway.
Not a bad idea, Cecilia.
Thank you, Miss Luck. You have my back.
Now Omkaar definitely looks at you, Lydia. It's just like, he just like mouths.
I think at this point, Allison walks like back in with the tray, and she like sees this stare happening and looks at Lydia and kind of gives like the silent, like, should I leave?
Lydia winks at Allison.
That doesn't answer the question. She like kind of awkwardly like puts a tray down. There are like little eclairs and chocolate dipped strawberries. For you, there is a like a whiskey glass filled with some blood. I hope that this is to your liking.
This is wonderful, Allison. Thank you.
Thank you.
Simply delightful.
Your parents do wish to see you on your way out, Cecilia.
Of course. Thank you for sending the message along.
Not a problem. Yeah, so You're also welcome to ask your parents about this individual if you want to look more into how you know, or like your last interaction with Allison. You're welcome to do that. If you want to try to arrange your meeting with Dev, you can do that. But I think we should set up what we're gonna do in the second half of the episode, and then we can take a break after that. So yeah, what is it that you guys are most interested in working on?
Literally anything but having to be interrogated or grilled about the date. I am down to do anything else.
Listen, the interrogation is over. The passive aggression has started.
Yeah, we moved on. I honestly, I think the passive aggression is worse. Maybe that's just me.
Honestly, you might want to clear the air with that, but that's on Omi.
Oh, we will clear the air if it happens again. And Omkaar will definitely. Sorry, I have food now. Omkaar will definitely like address that. He's down to meet Akane if that is something everyone else is doing. I think he's quite like travel weary, so is not really down to make like super big immediate plans to travel all the way back to the brass stuff again.
Yeah, that's a large trip.
Yeah, he's just like, I've been on a long haul flight. I don't want to do this again.
Yeah, Charlie might have to make that run.
Charlie can fly.
Yeah, so Charlie's gonna talk to him about that, and also Lucian. He's gonna soft launch Lucian.
So okay, that's so funny. So you're gonna send a note via Charlemagne to Dev.
Yeah.
And so that's gonna cover Lucian, and is that covering the fact that this group wants to come visit?
Yeah, but it's not gonna, like, let's say it gets intercepted. It's not gonna have our full plan. It's just gonna be like, Uncle, I want to talk to you about your new paramour, and my friends want to help soft launch this with me.
I hope that you use the phrase soft launch, because he's gonna be so confused.
Yeah, he's gonna be like, I've never left my house.
He does not know what that means.
Yeah. So that's gonna be the message. And then like obviously Cecilia's gotta check in with the old Mumsy and Popsicle.
Right now there's like just like a quick scene cut to Dev, who like wants to leave his house to try to see what's going on with the hunters, but doesn't want to be found out. So instead he's in like a ridiculous like disguise. Like he has like a turtleneck with like the collar like all the way up and like sunglasses on. And it's just like at a market, like looking at something but not really looking at something because he's looking around.
Lucian cannot see him in that outfit.
You've never you can't see this. You don't know that this is happening.
God.
But I'm sure that you'll make sure. Yeah. Okay. So you're doing that. You're going to see your mom and dad. Is there anything else that you guys want to do before Lord and Lady Dupree? So on your way out, your parents are kind of just chilling. They are in a kind of like a living room or a den kind of area, and your father is writing in a like a notebook of some kind, and your mother is working on like a painting, but she seems a little bit stressed about it when you walk in, but they both like know, like they both hear you walk in, and they say, Cecilia and friends, sit. Welcome back, Omkaar.
Omkaar will sit down and nod deferentially.
This talk kind of goes down like it's not necessarily a big deal to them, or if it is, they're playing it off like it really isn't. Say, we wanted to let you know, your mom, as she is like painting with like a very tiny brush, like detailing a flower in the painting, that they might actually put the major vampire cities on this side of the river on lockdown soon, because there is an alleged shit. And she dips the paintbrush in water and like tries to like fix something that she screwed up. There's some kind of guard protest strike uprising that is supposed to happen later tonight. So if guards start to come at you, just make sure to kill with style, okay, honey?
Mother. Style and grace. That's the Dupree way.
In the event, she's dabbing, of an actual lockdown, your companions are of course welcome to stay with us in the guest rooms as well.
Yes. Sleepover.
Okay.
Omkar will speak up and just say, "Thank you, Mrs. Dupree. That was very kind."
You as well, Lady Luck.
You are too kind, Lady Dupree.
Ah, yes, this is actually, and she kind of like holds out her hand that she's been painting with, and there is like a very nice kind of like wrist cuff on it. She's like, I won this off of one of the hunters in your den.
Excellent.
It's quite gorgeous. I do hope that they're not too scared to come back. A jewelry maker of some kind. You should keep an eye out. We're thinking about investigating that, but that is perhaps a problem for another day. Kisses, Cecilia.
Kisses, Mother.
Where is it that you all are going?
Ooh, to visit Akane. You may have heard of her.
Yes, your father and I know Akane. What is your business with her? Are you I suppose I don't need to be so nosy. I know that you can handle yourself.
Thank you.
Do you know the way?
I was told Omkaar might be familiar.
Am I familiar? I just know of Akane.
I think you know, like, kind of like generally that she lives towards the mountains, but you don't know like where she lives.
Okay. I think Omkar would be like, I know general. I have a general idea, but I don't know her exact housing. Cecilia is being way too kind of my knowledge.
There is a house down where all of the rivers pool at the base of the mountain, not the tallest one, the second one with the jagged peak. Down at the base where the rivers meet that flow down on that lake, that's where her house is. You should be able to follow the signs for the trails there. And I can give you Hun, and your father like quickly like scrawls out a note on like the Dupree letterhead, so that you have some credentials for showing up at her door.
Thank you.
Not a problem, darling. Be safe.
You too, Mother.
I'll say last call for things to do before going on this trip. If not, we will break and we will come back for your time at Akane's cottage. All
Break
right.
time.
Yeah, let's
Break
do
time.
a break. Let's do a break. Did you miss us? I know that you did.
Bonsoir.
I know, not the bonsoir. I don't know if it's better or worse that you waited until we were actually on screen to do that, but we're rolling with it. All right, we are back for the second half of the episode, and our party is traveling over to the cottage of Akane, who is a vampire and naturalist slash botanist. You don't know much else, but you're on the way. At some point during your travels, you hear the familiar of the wings of Charlemagne, and he lands with a piece of parchment, a note for Cecilia. When you crack it open, it is like I think a little bit longer than you expected, honestly. Be like, my dearest Cecilia, Lucian, like, then there's like 3 question marks. Like Lucian from the marshlands, question mark, question mark, question mark. That is the correct Lucian that you mentioned. I was unaware that he was single again, though I doubt he would be interested in little old me. Ha ha ha. And the ha-has are written like they're spaced out like a little too much, so it's awkward. Like old person texting. It'll be ha ha ha. Nice of you to think of me, though. I appreciate your confidence. As for your visit, I would love to have you back, as well as Omkaar. He was a phenomenal house guest. I'm sure your other friends are the same. I will be home, of course, open parentheses, as usual, close parentheses. I'm trying to lay low for a few days because of what happened, open parentheses. I'm sure you got filled in, close parentheses. But you are welcome around next week to pop up. Try to give me a few hours notice to make up all of the beds. With love, Dev. P.S. Sorry, this one got kind of long. I feel bad for making your bat carry such a big piece of paper.
And then I turn to Lydia and I'm like, our visit is on. The plan is going as, planned.
The plan is planning.
When the plan be planning.
Good to hear.
Yes, and as you kind of walk down the path, you have a little bit more time. If anyone wants to talk, you may talk.
I think after Cecilia, like when Omkar's like, that's good to hear, Cecilia's just kind of like, well, yeah, whatever, like just kind of like not overtly excited and hopping like and jumping around that her plan is planning, specifically Charlemagne aspect of that plan. Omkaar will kind of like, I think I like to think that both like Omkaar and Lydia like walking slightly behind Cecilia, and he kind of like turns over to Lydia and asks, does Cecilia feel off to you?
It seems you did something to upset her.
So it is that I upset her. Okay. I do not understand why that would be, though. You're laughing because you're making fun of me.
Yes.
And then you see him make a face like a dog that knows that they're being like filmed because they're doing something funny on camera. So he's just like giving you like a little
Omkar's dog shaming arc.
Listen, doggies know when they're being filmed and that they're making a funny face. And he just kind of like makes a face at you and he's just like, "You're going to tell me what I did wrong, or am I meant to figure it out?"
Clearly, you must know how Cecilia feels about you, right, Omi?
God, does he know? I'm gonna roll. No, he doesn't. And Omkaar kind of like looks at you and looks a little shocked. And it's just kind of like, "Lydia, you can stop pulling my leg now. Haha, very, very funny. You are hilarious and charming as always, but that is completely unnecessary."
I'm just saying, as much as I want to put these hunters in their place, I think assurance doesn't stand a chance near Cecilia.
Oh, and Omkar kind of like hears you make that comparison and goes, "Oh, you're serious?
Quite serious.
Of assurance, this this reconnaissance data." And then like then he clicks together that Cecilia might fancy him, and he just kind of goes, "Oh, that complicates matters, doesn't it? I just and you see him kind of like look a little flustered and unable to kind of like figure out what he's meant to do in this scenario. And he just says, I do not know if that's something the Duprees would approve of."
Well, Cecilia is a Dupree as well. It's important to remember that.
He does. He like looks at you, regards your advice very, very seriously. "No, I understand that, but I'm meant to be her guard, nothing more. That is my role here."
Then you should let that girl down easily, or she may make it your problem.
I think you see Omkar like look ahead to Cecilia, probably marching ahead in a huff.
She's stomping, correct?
And I think there is a soft look that Omkar gives to this very, very angry like Cecilia, but there's definitely like a helplessness there. And Omkar looks back at Lydia. "You must be having so much fun with all of this."
This has been a delightful weekend, and I'm so excited to cap it off with slaughtering these poor hunters.
And Omkar's like, "Yes." Capping it off with a slaughter. And he like just looks ahead. And I think that he will now be in quiet contemplation as he figures out at what point and how many points did he forget that Cecilia might fancy him throughout this entire walk towards Akane's house.
I needed to take a sigh for a moment now, and I realized I was muted, and it's probably good but it was a big sigh.
A big sigh? A big sigh from my boy? He's doing his best.
It was like in his honor / like on his behalf. I have sighed.
Oh yeah, it's definitely like that big like.
Yes. Okay, so kind of just following the directions that you were given, you are able to make it to this cottage. It is quite beautiful. It is like the ultimate like cozy fantasy kind of cottage. It's like all covered in ivy. There are various plants growing out front, which if you get closer to them, some of them are more I hate to use like the word exotic like as a general term, but like a lot of them are like not flowers that are native to the region and like plants that have been like brought in and are being cultivated. Um, and yeah, the front door has the sign of like it's kind of like a big like leaf sigil on it with a like a brass knocker.
Well, Omkaar, knock. Use the knocker.
Oh,
I have lost Val's audio. Has
yeah,
it?
I have as
Okay.
well.
I had muted it and forgotten. Omkar catches that line, that full name again, and just says very, very softly, "Yes, little orchid," and then goes towards the knocker and taps it 3 times.
Okay.
We got a soap opera here, fellas.
Hey, I can't do this. I am never casting Val again. /J. /J. The emote that I think Joel probably is doing this just set in chat is the mood. So kind of like as soon as the first knock. Oh, is it Taylor? Okay. Then that okay. Taylor is the mood in chat then. Kind of just as like your first knock happens before the knocker could reach the wood the second time, the door swings open. It's not too forceful, but it's definitely enough that it's not like a creak of a door. And you see like a vine has like pulled this open, and the figure of Akane, or what must be Akane, not sure. What must be Akane is across the room, and she says, "Who are you? Why are you at my door? Don't cross the threshold until I say."
I'm Omkar. And then he like makes sure to not look like he's intending on stepping in, and then steps aside and says, "This is Cecilia Dupree, scion of the Duprees, and she is Lady Luck. We've come here to pay you a visit."
And she turns to look over her shoulder. You can see kind of like her red eyes, and she looks at Cecilia and she goes, "Oh, you are the spitting image of your mother. Do come in." And as you step in, the vine will like pull the door shut a little bit more gently and flick like the deadbolt lock closed. Forgive me, I wasn't expecting guests. She has like kind of like an apron on, and it's got like kind of like soil / like other like smudges on it. And she brushes her hands on it and quickly like unties it and takes it off. So she's just wearing like a linen dress underneath it and her house slippers. I wasn't expecting guests, but I'm always happy to have visitors. Not many people make their way out here. What can I do for all of you? Please, please sit. And like 2 of like the vine tendrils like pick up like the couch pillows and like fluff them out on the sides.
Cecilia hands over the little letter that her dad wrote, kind of just giving them a reason to be there.
Yeah. Yeah, she like uses a letter opener to cut it open, kind of reads it briefly. You see her mouthing the words to herself. "Okay, didn't need to do all of this." She tucks it, like she folds it up and just like leaves it on a desk. Though it is very kind of him, I suppose that is the proper thing to do. There's like some mocking like in her tone of that. So is it, have you come to buy herbs, salves? That's what people usually come out here for. I have a few things ready. I've been working on restocking, but if you've made the trip, I'm happy to oblige.
We're more here for conversation. Tons of things are about, so we just wanted to know what you knew.
Oh, you've come to talk to me? You've come to talk to me?
Yes.
Omkaar just nods quietly. He's like standing, like leaning against a wall or something. And he like nods in understanding and solidarity with Akane of like, yes, I understand your feelings, but that's why we're here.
Recluse solidarity. Well, we're talking. So what is it that you would like to talk about?
Oh, so many things. Well, have you heard about any hunters in the area, or perhaps some type of guard revolt happening?
The only hunter around here is me. And you notice like that the like the rug beneath you is like a pelt rug of a bear, kind of as she says that.
Well, that's charming.
Akane's into
Girls
bears,
gotta
confirmed.
Okay, maybe, but I am more like on the larger scale applying that she like hunts and drinks animal blood as opposed to human. Yeah.
Interesting.
Wow, not drinking human blood.
That is kind of the implication of that. Guard uprising. I don't think so. Not many come all the way up here, except for when they're doing things that they're not supposed to do. So perhaps I should be looking out for them. They had some kind of like I don't know all of like their holidays, but in the last full moon, there was a group of guards around here doing some weird shit, like even for me, out on the lake, but I kind of just let them be because they weren't hurting anyone. I just thought that they were weird.
Why weird being on the lake?
I don't like to touch so much a stranger. That's kind of what the vines are for. They were all very touchy.
Omkaar looks at the other two.
Were they getting fresh on the lake?
It's very possible. I just shut all of my shutters and called it a day. I think they were drinking a lot. There was music. It was some kind of like just big party, and I just let it go and cleaned up after them when they left. They did leave a few effects. I actually have a guard shield now that I probably should return to the Guards Guild, but it's like kind of like a nightstand kind of thing going on right now in my room, so I decided not to.
Huh.
This is like the least prepared for guests person you've ever seen in all of Vampire Society. This is like
Omkaar relates. Omkaar understands. Yeah. Omkaar feels an affinity with this person. Yeah.
And I think Lydia is just kind of walking around like touching things.
Yeah, this is the kind of place that it's just like it's like my place. It's maximalist. There's like all kinds of like different like shelves that have like bottles filled with different like ingredients. There are like feathers and dried plants like pinned up on the wall. There are all kinds of different like mortars and pestles. as well as it appears like different artifacts from travel. So you recognize like sigils slash like models, or like things that are like prominent in other cities around. One of which, because we've talked about Drancaster, you recognize an effect or two from Drancaster and their specialties. Yeah, this place is filled with stuff. If you're looking for anything in particular, you let me know.
I think Lydia is more doing this as a power play.
Okay.
Just kind of like walking through Hakane space, being like, and she's gonna be like, making us wait for an invitation to come in. It's so old-fashioned and quaint.
Are you trying to
If this is Monster Hearts, this would be a shutdown roll.
I know, I'm looking at, there's mislead, distract, or trick, but I don't know if you're trying to trick. You're really just trying to intimidate.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna have you roll persuade, because you're basically trying to convince them to be scared of you. I think is my logic. Yeah.
Sure. So that's plus heart.
That is plus heart. Yeah.
Nice. That is only an 8.
Okay, so on a hit, they see your point and do as you ask. So ultimately, in this interpretation, she still like will be kind of like afraid of you, but there's going to be like she's going to like push back. She's gonna push back on it. So she swallows a little bit. She kind of straightens up. The two of you who are like closer to her kind of like see the change in demeanor, like the uneasiness at someone like walking around and touching a lot for things. She goes, you never know who's going to show up out here. You have to be careful about who enters your space. I believe that you would know that as the owner of an establishment like a gambling den, Lady Luck.
I do. You have so many beautiful things here. You wouldn't want any of them taken. Like Allison, right?
Well, I think that Allison is far beyond the station of being able to be taken. But yes, I am quite fond of her.
You have good taste.
I would ask you how you know her, but I've heard. Is that who sent you here now? Are you here on her behalf? I know that she does work for your parents nowadays.
She mentioned you, and we all had the realization it may be useful to visit you for what we have planned.
And
being a hunter yourself.
And what is it that you have planned then?
We're hunting some hunters. People who want to hunt us.
She like kind of like doesn't quite light up, but she definitely perks up at this. This definitely has her interest. Like, that sounds quite fun. Is it someone prominent? Is it someone new? You're not working on behalf of the Countess, are you?
We'd rather the Countess not know about it. We're trying to keep it from the Countess's mind.
Something that I can get behind.
Omkaar is now significantly more interested in Akane.
You don't live out like in the outskirts of like society because you like the person in charge.
That's true. And I think at her question of like, is this someone prominent, someone new? Omkaar is just kind of like, yes. Their names have become a newer element amongst those who are listening, but they are growing prominence.
And so you're looking to nip it at the bud.
Yes.
Lovely. If there's anything I can provide for you, I'm happy to to strike a deal, perhaps to assume some of their personal effects after the job is done. I'd love to add to my collection, though I'm not usually fond of killing the sentient. You do have to do away with hunters before they do away with you. So.
Omkaar looks towards Cecilia and Lady Luck, if that sounds like a fair deal, if they want to, because he knows that, like, I think he's seen Lydia like grandstand before and shut someone down. So I think he's like, okay, Lydia's working her magic. I'm gonna sit here and watch. If she wants to shut down even more, if she wants to do more in this scenario.
I think Lydia's actually turning around. Like, I think her demeanor kind of changed, seeing how well Hakane like stood up to Lydia's kind of intimidation. Now she's like interested.
Mm-hmm. This is where we tell Max that they're not allowed to be mad at us when we flirt with their NPCs, because
No, I
the
made her
NPCs
hot
cool.
on purpose.
Yeah.
This one is
Know
not
your
from the book.
audience.
This one's all mine. And she says, Marguerite, and a kind of like a bird, kind of like red, similar the color of her eyes, but like kind of like a floral like paradise fantasy bird almost. You've never seen anything like it. But the eyes of it, it's clearly ghouled, so it's like it's dead but alive also. Will you fetch my books, dearest? And it chitters and it flies off down like one of the hallways of the house. And it returns shortly with like this is like the kind of tome that is like the kind of book that just like you use it for everything. You can see like the pages are like crinkled from like water having spilled on it before. The leather on the cover is worn from where it's been handled, and the bird drops it right kind of onto her lap. Like, let's talk. What is it that you need from me? And she begins to skim to an inventory page.
Omkaar looks at Akane and it's just like, you are a skill hunter. Our tentative plan is to set up a honeypot, and as they prepare their ambush for this honeypot of vampires, that we ambush that particular ambush. Having a hunter's insight as to how you would go about an ambush, so that we may one-up that, would be very valuable.
Honeypot works quite well on mortals, almost as well as it does on vampires, I think.
Damn. All right.
If you, I would recommend setting up a more complex venue for it, somewhere where if you have allies even more than are present here, people can hide and set up traps and assurances that your I hate to call them prey, they're people, that the hunters won't escape.
The prey won't escape.
Val, I'm blanking on what you actually said to her now. What did you say
Oh.
that you needed?
Basically,
Yeah.
I want to trap the trappers.
You want to trap the
How does a hunter perceive this, and how do we one up them as they're like trying to, like, if we are trapping them, they're obviously going to be really observant. So how do we do that efficiently?
I would also tell you that sometimes in these situations the best offense is a good defense. Hunters, folk, and by folk she means like mortal people. It's just like another word for it. Are just kind of inherently not as strong or resilient as a vampire. And many of them work around and have weaponry and things specifically meant to target our weaknesses. So I would recommend trying to protect yourselves basically as much as you can from anything like fire. If you can get like any kind of strong armor to protect your hearts specifically. Definitely like a no silver situation. I'm just kidding. Yes, to protect your hearts, protect yourselves from fire. If you can put them in any kind of situation where they have to weapon check or at least are forced to conceal weapons and thus can't carry anything larger, that would be quite smart of you. I'm not really one for all of the events, but an event might be good, even if a false one.
Event. Looks over towards Cecilia, because that's usually your favorite thing to think about.
Also, I will say, because Jay isn't here, you do have a very famous singer among your ranks usually.
Me too.
So.
Dupree's were talking about a party.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, they were.
Yeah, we can let them do it.
We could let him do it. Like Salis can be a part of that as well. We can like layer it. But this would definitely be a good way of like lining our ducks in a row.
Akane, do you have any armor or perhaps tiny daggers that we can throw?
I actually think I have. I think I have just the thing. And she pops up and she goes into like one of many different like large armoires in here, begins to dig through a drawer that at least appears to you guys to be like incredibly disorganized and stuffed to the brim. And you see her just like take out a bunch of things, all of which are like very curious. I come out that this is in here. And she pulls out a pouch and taps it for the sound. She goes, that's it. And she lays on like the coffee table. She pushes some stuff aside and she takes out, there is a set of 8. It appears to be like darts here. They kind of like are attached to like vials, and their point is like syringe like in precision. She goes, these are poisoned with some of my friends in the garden. And she winks. It will not do well on anyone. I think this might even make a vampire sick if they were young enough.
This is perfect. Thank you.
And I do love the Duprees, but I would like to sign some form of contract, just to make sure that I get some kind of payment for my part of the deal. This stuff doesn't come cheap.
I see. Must it be from me, or could someone in service to me do it?
Who did you have in mind?
Omkaar. Could you sign?
I'm writing out this legal document.
No, you're just like signing, being like, if anything, I'm collateral.
So basically what she is going to have written out is like basically that she has like dibs on like the like effects in the estate, or like the estate and or residence of these hunters upon their death, and in the event that they don't die during the plan, she is entitled to X amount of money, which is like nominal to like the Duprees if you needed to pay it.
Mm-hmm.
I just made a deal earlier on in the campaign, and I'm like, not again. She cannot keep doing this.
That's business, baby.
That's a business,
That's
baby.
business, baby.
Come on, Omkaar. Mr. I'm in
Cool.
service to the Dupree.
Of course, if you are uncomfortable signing, I'm happy to take something of yours as collateral and return it upon the deal's finishing as well.
Oh, that's even better. She whips out the little kitchen knife made by her uncle. It's nice.
You're lucky you found someone who likes to collect things. Actually, I did not plan this. That works really well. She takes it and she goes.
The neurodivergent need a iteration for little collectibles, little knickknacks.
I knew it.
She kind of she holds it up to the light. She goes, "This is gorgeous.
Made by the brass devil himself.
Damascus. This is by Dev. My God, I haven't seen him in a good 100 years. I'm glad.
Not to partake in gossip, but do you think that Lucian from the marshlands and Dev would make a good couple?
He got divorced?
Yes.
It's like she like looks over her shoulder and you can see that the bird is like peering out, like listening, and she's like I can't say that I know Dev on a personal level. We did a research project together the last time that I saw him. I stayed at his estate, and we basically we cultivated an indoor greenhouse of some things for his research. It was a very successful project for both of us. Like I said, I can't speak to that. Lucian is quite the desired bachelor, and the brass devil is likewise an object of interest, probably for more people than you realize if he is your uncle.
Yes.
I would say give it a go. I'd be curious to see it.
Thank you. Please write to my uncle and tell him this. He's kind of been knocked down lately.
I think it would be a little bit suspicious if I wrote to him out of the blue to support random matchmaking, but
he needs friends. Okay. I'm sorry.
Okay, perhaps I can arrange another project, but he's going to have to come here this time because I hate Drencaster.
Okay, one more piece of gossip. Would you believe he's trying to get out of the house more?
No, I wouldn't believe that.
He is.
To think you bring me a kitchen knife and gossip. What more could I ask on a Tuesday? Oh, hello, Raiders from that house.
Hello, Raiders.
You're in time for my hot NPC. And she whistles, and the bird, who has clearly been listening the entire time, like pitter patters back in, and she hands her the knife, and she takes it in her talons and flies off to find it a place on she has one of those things where it's like a long magnet, and so like all of the knives are like stuck to it on like the kitchen wall, and finds an empty place to stick it among the knives. It's been an unexpected pleasure. You're going to want to be careful with those darts. Not that I think that any of you are young enough that this would make you sick, but try not to waste them. Selective shots, and if you are shooting at folk, don't expect to be able to hear from them again. They are quite debilitating.
Understood.
Is there anything else that I can provide to you?
Anyone?
Omkaar just kind of like gives from a distance a game recognizes game warm smile, and just nods and says, "We've intruded upon your time enough. Thank you for your wisdom."
On the way out, I think Lydia drops a chip for the gambling hall onto the table on the way out.
Lady Luck.
Yes.
I don't know. And she's kind of like, she has the chip like in her hands. And she's kind of just like feeling it and twisting it around, fidgeting. I don't know how close you are with Allison now, or how often you've spoken. I haven't seen her in a while myself since she's taken up service of the decrees, but you would do well to be kind to her, because she came to me wanting to be turned because of you.
Oh. Well, I've only met her twice, but both times she's made quite the impression.
She tends to do that. She knows how to handle those darts, so if you need a set of hands at the estate, feel free to ask her.
I will. Thank you. Hopefully I'll see you at the den.
Safe travels.
Did Cecilia double back once everybody's gone, just for like a second?
I can't stop you.
She just like wants to run over to Akane and be like, I see there's a bunch of flowers here. Do you happen to have any orchids? I need a pick-me-up lately.
Yes, of course I have an orchid. What do I look like to you? They're in the they require, and she kind of like doubles back through the house, and she like takes your hand, not in any kind of romantic way, just to like lead you to make sure that you don't like go down like a wrong hallway. Like they kind of require like a very specific environment. So I actually have it, and she pushes open like a kind of like sunroom kind of thing. It has like all glass windows. It's like a hexagon kind of thing. And it's all orchids. It's all orchids in here. And there's like a long, I don't know what like the lounge chairs are that have like the long bottom. There's one of those, and there's a stack of novels on a table, and that's all that's in here. You aside from those, and she motions to like a particular corner of them, you take your pick.
I think she just chooses like a white one, just one.
That one, she takes a moment, she considers. That one is on the house.
Thank you.
Okay. You all feel free to come back and visit if you need something else, or if you want to ask me more questions. I certainly am not doing much.
Celia throws a saucy little wink and runs.
Audible noise of confusion as Cecilia exits the house.
Cecilia, this session is confusing everybody, and I love this.
And this is different from the other sessions. How?
That's true. You're right. You're right.
When you mentioned Cecilia and Assurance, or when Lydia mentioned it earlier, I was actually frightened at the similarity of their chaos. And as the episodes where everyone is on screen approaches, I'm horrified to have them in the same. I'm actually so scared. So you all take the trek back. It takes a little bit, and on the horizon, I'd say you're about. Oh, actually, first of all, Cecilia does return holding an orchid. I don't know if this holds any kind of reaction from Omkaar or Lydia, but I want to give you the opportunity to explain that.
Omkaar will, if Cecilia is just holding it out and not like tucked it into a pocket or something.
He's just holding it.
Yeah, Omkaar will just say, that was nice of Akane. It suits you. That's it.
Thank you, Omkaar.
Damn. Still the Omkaar.
Okay. So yeah, you are kind of like within the town. You are back like within society. You're maybe about 20 minutes on foot from the estate when you see the rising of smoke in the distance towards in the general direction of the bridge that like bridges the two sides of the river. with Draencaster on the other side, and where you all reside on the one that you are on. You can't hear much because you are too far away, but something is definitely burning. This is where I would ask for a nature check, but that's not a thing. So everyone roll, you can roll mind for more information on this based on what you see.
I got a 3.
At an 8.
Got a 7.
Given that what I was going to give you is like obscure knowledge that I know from basically living in the woods, I don't think you can exactly discern without like a 10 plus exactly like what kind of smoke it is, being that fire is bad for vampires in general, and you don't want to be near it. You know that a little bit closer to there is the venue where Salis's event is that they've been working. So we hope that they're safe. They will be fine over the table. It's just a little bit of a better view when we come back next session. And so now I ask kind of as you kind of remember what was mentioned to you about there being a lockdown, do you want to all head to the Dupree estate? Do you want to try to get closer to the action? Or do you want to go to your own residences or another like third
Secret
location?
thing.
Yeah, or a secret third thing. Or alternatively, a secondary location.
The secondary location.
You know, getting me to secondary location.
No, I think Lydia's excited to pay Allison another visit, so we're going to the Dupree estate.
Okay. So
All are welcome.
back to the Dupree estate, there's actually like another guardsman that's essentially been like waiting on like a slightly elevated like guard station at the gates of the estate, basically waiting for you all to return. He ushers you inside and like locks the gates behind you all. The Lord and Lady have been anxiously awaiting your return. We're very glad to see you all safe. Is everyone okay?
You're fine, big guy.
He blushes lightly. Well, I'm glad to hear. I'm glad. He looks awkwardly at Omkaar and then at you. I think
Omkaar definitely makes like the dirtiest, meanest look.
I would say most of the staff probably think that you guys have something going on to varying degrees.
Yeah,
just
so
because like
nasty look.
there's no gossip like staff gossip, and the nasty look definitely confirms it for that guy. And then he like just like puts his head down and kind of like leads you all into the house. So next session we'll come back. The city will be locked down. For the safety of vampires, everyone is advised to not leave their homes. I will take the camera away for a moment over to the bridge. The hunters have been on the other side of this bridge where there is a marketplace. There are actually two different bridges. It would make more sense for it to be the other bridge. So it will be the other bridge. That is in the like the southeast of town, the Rot Bridge. You can see that there is a very serious kind of strike going on here. There has been dissent between the guards, some of which are very happy to work extra time for extra money, and aren't bothered by the vastly expanded hours and demand of them, because they know that they can better their lives with the money. But there is kind of an opposite faction within the guardsmen and the people of the Brinkwood that know that their lives can't be bought and have demanded more answers as to why security has still remained increased, why their workloads have gone up, and haven't received them, and have gotten quite frustrated. You can see kind of over the Rot Bridge where they had originally attempted to hold a line to stop the movement of trolleys and carts over the bridge, eventually resulting in I think the worst thing that you can see from a strike. It's when like your own people turn against you. There are two factions of guards fighting. It resulted in the busting of a gunpowder canister, which caught fire to a lot of the greenery on your side of the bridge towards the coastline of Innisfirth. Like all of the stone of the bridge is scorched, and you see some townspeople kind of trying to put it out with the water from the river, but most of them is just guards fighting, while a few vampires watch from their homes in the distance in tall towers and mansions in the center of Innisfirth. Intrigued, others scared, and unsure of what exactly is happening in the Countess's mind as this all goes down. And I think I will call that an episode. If anyone has anything that they want their character to be doing kind of as they are locked in the night, I want everyone to tell me kind of what their character is going to do this evening while they're shut in the estate when we do our outros. And I will start with Val.
Hello. Outros. Hi everyone. I'm Valiant Dorian. I use he, him, his pronouns. I'm a TTRPG performer, Twitch variety streamer, and game designer now. You can find me all around the internet at Valiant Dorian or at Also Spirit Bear. Please enjoy that lovely treasure hunt I just set you on. And I'm crowdfunding for my game. The campaign is running an extended time. I'm making a game about werebeasts called The Beast Within. Help us hit our stretch goal so that I get to make my artists make art of deviant art winged wolves. Because that is a stretch goal. Help me make that happen. And yeah, tonight I had the distinct pleasure of playing Omkaar, our split little party member who has many feelings and does not know what to do with any of them. Who use he, him, his pronouns. Tonight, I think Omkaar would do a reading with his tarot cards on assurance and the privacy of his room. Because with all this chaos, he can't push aside the idea of what they could be doing in this scenario. Okay. And that's me, Joy.
Oh, yeah, Joy.
Hi, I'm Joy. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at JoyXValentine. You can also find me every other week on my podcast, Dungeons and Dragons, that I host with my brother. It's a bi-weekly nerd talkback podcast where we discuss everything nerd with a hint of accountability. It's a gross tagline and I hate it. Subscribe to our Patreon. We really want to make better podcasts with better audio quality. So that would really help us out with that. And then in the night, I think, oh God, it's so bad. I think Cecilia is going to start off the night kind of like terrorizing the people that work in her home. And by terrorizing, I mean, she's flirty. She's feeling herself right now. The guards, typically she had Omkaar to bother. She doesn't. Are you going to revenge hook up with a guard? Yes. It's going to be so bad. And then after that, she's going to feel bad. So she's going to try to find where Miss Luck is and ask her for boy advice. I feel a post-credit scene coming on. Yeah. Natalie.
Hi, I'm Natalie Putum. You can find me on Twitter at Luck of the Harbor. You can also find my game, Sapphic Space Pirates. I talked about it being available on itch.io, but it's also available at Indie Press Revolution. If you want physical copies, you can get your own physical copies sent to you in the mail.
I
of
got
Sapphic
this book
Space
from
Pirates.
Indie Press Revolution, actually.
Yeah, Indie Press Revolution is
awesome.
fantastic. We should just shout them out in general. They're great. Also, yeah, I think Lydia is going to call Allison specifically for something mundane and kind of spend the evening with her.
So I think Cecilia would probably come into maybe just Lydia and Allison playing like a very casual game of cards.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I like that's what we're calling it now, a game of cards.
Yeah.
Cards.
They're just playing cards.
I'm picturing it like the main event has already finished. They're in sexy nightgowns and they're
in robes. Yeah.
And full Cecilia in the door doing that thing kids do where it's like, I threw up.
Max, where can we find you?
Oh, me?
Yes.
I'm Max. You can find me anywhere that I want you to find me on the internet at Arcane Goth. I do this show on Mondays. We have a few more weeks left. We're coming up soon on those converged episodes where everyone is going to be together. So the next two episodes 7 and 8, the casts will be separate, but those episodes 9 and 10, we're gonna get everyone together for a big old blowout. So you should be here. I have some pre-recorded stuff coming out with Apochromatic or / Apoch Unlimited soon. They're wonderful people. You should support them. POC run gaming community, absolutely amazing. And I am not doing anything else right now except for one thing that I can't announce. But I did apply to something today that I really want to get into, so I hope that I can tell you that I'll be in that soon. Other than that, I am resting. We are going to go on a little raid. We are going to Talking XP. So you should jump with us over there now. And if you're going to bed, have a good night. Actually, either way, have a good night. Have a good night. Don't let the vampires bite, or do if you're into that. Bye.